The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
The summer of 2004 at 20.
Welcome to Friday on the Brandon Peters Show, where we run the music video companion series to the summer of 2004 at 20. And today, returning from last summer, from 92.3 WTTS in Indianapolis, the voice of your morning drive to work, Matt Pelsor.
Mornings with Matt Pelsor on 92.3 WTTS. It's a delight to be here, Brandon. I have had such a wonderful time on this show, and I'm so glad that you asked me back.
Yeah, I love how I was like, yep, he's coming back next year. This is right in your wheelhouse. Little morning rock jams, old school. You guys have a great rotation going on for
oh goodness,
on your
thank
station.
you. I'm kind of I think that we have actually the song in question in this episode, and I know we're going to get to it, but I think the song in question we have considered bringing into the rotation because people who enjoyed The Reason by Hoobastank are now fully in adulthood, and we're kind of
20 years old this year.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
we're a rock for grown-ups station, and so there's no reason why we shouldn't be playing this one. But we'll get to later why we maybe won't be for a while, or if not for too long.
Okay.
It's an interesting...
It's a teaser.
Yeah. Okay. I got thoughts.
Okay. All right. So summer of 2004, 20 years ago, Matt, where were you in your life?
I was doing landscaping at Ball State University. I was running a weed whacker just about every day. I was partnered with this kid who we would ride around a truck on campus, and he would smoke pot in the truck. I would drive. He would not drive. He would smoke pot. He was another student named Brandon, actually.
It was me. No.
And he would have a joint, and I would be so nervous, and he'd just be smoking his joint in the truck. A campus truck, like a Ball State truck, and we would run our weed whackers. You know, he was given gas-powered machinery, and he was high off his brain most of the time. I was not. And then we were also paired up with this nerdy, like neurospicy kind of kid, like a different kind of thinker, this kid, but very nerdy, back before the world really accepted that kind of a person. You know what I mean? He was a weird kid, but he would be paired up with us sometimes, and he would talk about his Dungeons and Dragons characters, and he would talk about wanting, like we were out there with weed whack, and he's like, I think I'd rather have a scythe. And cut the weeds this way, like the Grim Reaper. And we're like, you're a weird kid, but you know what? I'm here for it. And we've got these loud weed whackers in our ears anyway. So if whatever you want to say while we're not running this machinery is fine with us. So anyway, I was doing that. I was cutting suckers off the bottom of trees and weeding mulch and spreading mulch and all kinds of things. And it was the summer I turned 21, and I did so in Yellowstone National Park. And if you know anything about me now, you know how formative that must have been, because I'm a big lover of the outdoors and hiking, and to turn 21 at Yellowstone National Park was a very, very special thing. So that was my summer of 2004. What about you?
That's epic. Well, I appreciate you landscaping Ball State, as I was there at the same time.
We made it look pretty. We made it look about as pretty as one lazy guy, one weirdo, and one super high dude could.
There you go. Yeah. It was that was a summer for me where I took summer school classes. I was there, so might as well take some classes while I'm there for the summer. And this was the summer where I had a professor fell down his stairs, and we literally had the whole class, aside from the first week, was over a conference call thing.
Fell down the stairs? What was this class?
Oh, I think it was one of the TCOM law classes. I did very bad in it because of it. And then I tried to petition that. I'm like, if you should have had a sub, because it was kind of hard doing it by a conference call. And then they argued, well, you could have dropped it at that point. I'm like, yeah, but I was here for the summer.
In 2004, conference call was not what it is now.
No,
this is Zoom that we're on right now.
Yeah,
there was no Zoom. There was no pandemic to set us up with video meeting. You know what I mean? Imagine if the pandemic had happened in 2002. We would have had this crap figured out already. But it took a long time.
Yeah, no, it was one of those like module things that they put in the front of the class. Like, can everybody hear? We're like, I guess I don't.
So what was the professor like from a hospital room with their foot up in the air like the cartoon?
Something. I don't know. He was just incapacitated, couldn't get there. And I remember like them being really. I had a. Did you ever have Skip Surgine? I think we only lasted like a year. He was
I remember hearing about Skip, but I never had Skip.
He did my screenwriting classes, and he loved me. He like did it, but he was always like 15, 20 minutes late to class because he couldn't find. He always said because he couldn't find parking, and like he'd show up, you'd get he would make those minutes count that you did have with him, and was constantly talking to you. He like wanted to have conversations over email, and so that was like kind of cool about projects and stuff.
That's nice. That's transparent and available.
They were constantly coming into the room to let us know he was on his way, and please let us know, or you want to drop or complain. But this conference call shit was just fine and dandy. This guy, he was late, but he showed up.
Oh, wow.
And felt available. But yeah, so I did not do well in that one. Yeah, I was learning about copyrights and all sorts of, TCOM law, which, yeah, I know stuff because I took that class that's never, I guess it's come up when people ask questions about things. I'm like, well, that's kind of illegal. Like I found out, like in that class, I remember, I don't know if it's to this day, but literally playing a cover song to an audience with a paid ticket is illegal if it's not approved by the group. But it's just kind of generally accepted by artists that that's a compliment and that's fine. But if you were to release that recording or a recording of it, then rights and royalties need to go. But just literally playing it live somewhere, at least in that class in 2004, told me that that was illegal.
Yeah, up to a point.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a national tour and you're a nationally successful artist and you decide you're going to cover, something big like, I don't know, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
Somebody's going to chase them down and be like, hey, the band who's, making about 100K touring this year are covering Landslide. You probably should hit them up for some cash. It's probably going to happen. So,
but I was thinking too. I was like, didn't Jimi Hendrix play Sgt. Pepper's like the day the album came out? Like he played it at a concert. Like
I don't know anything about that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So I don't know, but that was me in 2004. So as we do, Matt, the movies we talk about on Monday, I'm gonna list them off for you, and you can tell me if you have any thoughts or have seen any of them. The first one is The Stepford Wives, the Nicole Kidman, Matthew Broderick remake. Did you see that one?
I loved The Stepford Wives. Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes, because I only kind of knew what it was about before I watched it, and like the sense that I got from like the trailers of that movie, it wasn't the sense that I got from watching the movie. I can't remember like what the trailers made me think. Like it was just this town full of beautiful women, but I didn't know how far it went beyond that. Okay. And then when I found out, I was like, this is great. This is such a great idea. And of course it was a remake, but I didn't know that at the time. But of course it was a good idea. They remade it. And it's so good. It's so funny. It's so, I don't know. I think sort of they really went into detail with that movie, with the set design and the production design. Everything seems intentional, and it all serves to enhance this really screwed up story that I just love.
There you go. Garfield, the movie. This is the one with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Breckin Meyer, with Bill Murray as Garfield.
Bill Murray wasn't he tricked into doing that movie?
He says that. Yeah.
Because it was there were two brothers named Coen who did it, and he thought it was the Coen brothers.
Yeah, he thought
and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it," and then it wasn't.
But he did the sequel.
Did he do the sequel?
Yeah, and he doesn't do sequels except for Ghostbusters. So
maybe he signed. Maybe it was a weird clause in the contract, like will do any subsequent sequel.
Possible.
And shout out to one of another famous Ball State grad. Jim Davis,
yes,
creator of Garfield. Holy crap, man. Garfield, the movie. Yeah.
And there's a new one that's come out this summer. As of this recording, it'll be out. But Yeah. So, and it's funny because my friends are asking me like, are kids still into Garfield? I'm like, I'm pretty sure Garfield's like Ninja Turtles relevant, like every generation knows. And then I'm like, wait, I live in Indiana. There's Garfield stuff up a lot, probably more than other
Yeah.
places.
Did you ever go to one of those restaurants? The Garfield restaurants?
No. Tell me
There
about
were
this.
like these restaurants. I think they might have just been called Garfields. It was
Okay.
Jim Davis's like soiree or foray, not soiree. It was Jim Davis's foray into restaurateuring, I think.
Oh. Okay.
I'm pretty sure there was this Garfield, there were a few Garfield restaurants. It was kind of, think of a Cheddar's,
Okay.
but slightly Garfield themed, and he tried to
Okay.
make it classy, but it just didn't work out. I don't think there are any of them left.
I hope they served lasagna. That would have been really disappointing.
Well, boy, if they didn't, they really missed the mark, didn't they?
Yeah. Like one time I went to my wife and I went to a Bubba Gump shrimp company, and she was mad. She was devastated. They didn't have Dr. Pepper. They do now, but they didn't before. She's
Why
like,
wouldn't they have had Dr. Pepper?
All right, we have
Wait
Coke
a minute.
products. So
What?
How did that happen?
Jesus. How can you? Oh my God.
You
don't
look
have
at her
Dr.
face.
Pepper at the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
I think it was when I was living in Los Angeles, and I took her, and she'd never eaten at one before. She was like, "Can we eat there?" I was like, "All right, you hitting up all the tourist traps. Let's go." And just the look on her face when the server told her, like, "No, we don't have that." She's like, "How? Like, do you have Mr. Pibb?" Like, no, we have Coke products.
If they had Mr. Pibb and they didn't have Dr. Pepper, that would be the funniest thing.
That'd be great. And they changed like all the Forrest Gump stuff in there to have Mr. Pibb on it.
Those poor waiters and waitresses to have had to tell everybody who asked for a Dr. Pepper, say we have Mr. Pibb at the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Oh, you couldn't write anything funnier than that.
Right. But we went to
Wow.
we took the kids to Universal last fall break, and we went to Bubba Gump, and they had Dr. Pepper, so it was okay.
They better have. Somebody wrote into the company.
Right. I know you've probably seen this next one, Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, of course. I've got it on DVD.
Yeah.
I think let's see. No, I've got Napoleon Dynamite on DVD. You better believe I do.
Yes. And then the Chronicles of Riddick. Vin Diesel. It's the Pitch Black sequel.
Used to have that on DVD. That was my ex-wife's. Yeah, she loved that shit.
Did you let her keep that?
Yeah, man. She can have that.
Chronicles
but I
of
did think
Riddick,
that
all yours.
I did think that was a good, an interesting concept for a movie and then later a franchise, essentially, right? Didn't they make a few movies based on that?
There's Pitch Black. There's Pitch Black. There's Chronicles of Riddick, and then there's Riddick, and then they're saying they're gonna actually make another one, but we'll see. That's like his Vin Diesel's baby. He'll always go back to trying to get a Riddick movie.
Well, those were definitely a part of my mid to late 2000s experience.
There you go.
Because my wife at the time was super into those, and yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
But we're super into Hoobastank, which is we were talking about. The reason it's the title track of Hoobastank's debut album. It was the second single from that album, following Out of Control, and succeeded by Same Direction and Disappear. The album went 2 times platinum. The song would hit gold status on, maybe you can clarify for this for me, Master Tone, but 4 times platinum digitally, and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's their biggest song, nominated for 2 Grammys, including Song of the Year, which it lost to Daughters by John Mayer. Other nominees were Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You, which you and I will be talking about later on this summer. Kanye West, Jesus Walks, Tim McGraw, Live Like You Were Dying. And then Best Pop Performance by a duo group with vocals. That's with vocals. You know,
was it
pop
the
music
same
without.
year? Was it the same year as Tim McGraw's Live Like You Were Dying?
Yep.
I feel like that song feels so late 90s to me.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, here's the Live Like You Were Dying. It's possible that was 2003 because the Grammy window is like October through September.
It feels
But
like very early 2000s
yeah.
or late 90s. I can't believe that was 03.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
All
yeah,
right.
we were there for it. Best pop performance by duo or group with vocals. It lost to Los Lonely Boys Heaven. The others nominated were My Immortal by Evanescence, She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5, and It's My Life by No Doubt. And I think all 4 songs that lost to Los Lonely Boys I like better than the Los Lonely Boys song.
All 5 of these songs that were nominated that year are still huge hits, like
right, yeah.
still big, gold hits for like mix stations. You'll hear any one of those songs on a mixed format station, or even a station like the one I work for, AAA, Adult Album Alternative. I mean, you'll hear a bunch of those songs. Yeah. How Far Is Heaven, like it or not, it is still around, man. Hot AC gold.
Yeah, and My Immortal is funny. I was going through for the regular episode portion of this, and I was pulling a promo because Friends finished up in 2004. We covered that, and I pulled up a promo, and they used My Immortal by Evanescence. Nothing like the funny show using the sad song for their.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess they were playing up the whole "we're about to be done" thing. I don't know.
Frasier had a sad one too. It's like, you remember those people? They make you laugh. Now they're going by, and we're gonna be sad. So what is Master Tone? Do you know what Master Tone is? Is that like physical album sales, or because it listed it as gold status for Master Tone, but 4 times platinum digitally. So
I actually don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's 4 times platinum digitally.
That's probably lifetime, maybe not in the moment, but yeah,
probably lifetime. Yeah, you're probably right. It is crazy that the single went 4 times platinum, and I mean a double platinum album. I mean, this was the time for multi-platinum albums, like a lot of radio play and MTV play for a song at that time meant millions of album sales. And it was kind of the tail end of that, because it was in the late 2000s, early teens, when people started to be like, I'm just going to rip all these CDs into my computer. And I had friends who would rip all their music into their computer and throw their CDs away.
Yeah, throw them away.
Threw them away. And I'm like, you could sell these. You could give them to me. And I thought it was the weirdest thing, but yeah, people were still buying albums at this time, and you get a double platinum. You think about how much money that is into a bunch of band guys' pockets. Not only do you have a hit that will sustain you for the rest of your career, which could be decades longer if you can keep it together, but and yeah, you got to play it every night. Fine, but save it for the encore. The crowd's going to go nuts. But
do like Toadies did, and they used to open with their song. Like they go, for all of you, because they play county fairs, so they're like, all right, here's the one you came to hear.
And then
now we can play the rest of it.
Well, which one was that? Because Toadies had 2 or 3. It'd be Possum Kingdom, I guess.
Possum
probably.
Kingdom. That's the one. They open. I had a friend go see him. They opened with it. Said bye to those of you who came to see this one. We're going to continue the show.
That's so punk rock. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that guy right now, Brandon. But it was their sophomore album. It wasn't their debut album. Their debut album. Okay. Yeah, their debut album had that first song that we ever heard from Hoobastank. It was our introduction to Hoobastank, and it was their first single, "Crawling in the Dark."
Oh,
remember that one? That was a little heavier.
Yep. Because when they came out, they were like the poor man's Incubus. Like I was like, wait, who?
Yes. No, not necessarily poor man's Incubus, but like
the Backstreet Boy or the NSYNC to Incubus's Backstreet Boys. Yeah.
There. A little bit. Where Incubus was a little deeper, you know what I mean? And they had a kind of a back catalog to go back on. Incubus at that point was on album number 3 or 4. Whereas Hoobastank was just breaking in with Crawling in the Dark, and it felt kind of overproduced, but we understood what they were doing, and they got all the superficial music fans on board with Crawling in the Dark, you know what I mean? And established themselves as sort of that thing, which was kind of unfortunate, because I do think that Hoobastank, I mean, they knew how to write songs, but they also knew how to listen to producers who wanted to make them sound really poppy.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, Hoobastank, when they came out, I was just kind of like, but it was like when this song came, I was like, okay, now these guys mean business. Where do they go from this one? I don't really know, because I didn't keep up with Hoobastank, but this song, you couldn't escape this song.
This song was so ubiquitous in 2003 and 4. Was it 3 when it came out? Yeah, I mean,
the album came out in
late 3.
Yeah.
And I want to say The Reason came out in like the fall of '03. The song anyway. Oh no. It was released in late January of '04. The Reason as a single.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It wasn't the kickoff single. Because it went harder song, ballad, probably a little harder song, ballad. That's usually the way they go. But yeah.
And The Reason is such a big song. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are these precise harmonies, and it soars and it leaps and all of these things, and it really is a well done song. The problem is it's a little too well done. It's a little too polished. It's like if a committee, granted, a well-oiled committee, a well-greased committee of people who work really well together, put this song together. You know what I mean? But because everybody had these good ideas and they all put them together, but it was too many. It's not rock and roll enough. It was very much pop. Good song, but boy, is it a little polished.
Yeah, because I mean, it has that it starts with a little piano that goes like nowhere other than just isn't that a little bit more artistic with the piano there? Like it, but you know what the song does immediately lend itself to things outside the world of music, like television or film montages, like commercial. Like it just has a sound where, like, it's probably because it's over polished and too fine that it lends itself to easily stick it onto this like movie trailer or sad, oh, we broke up or someone died in a movie, here's the sad montage, stick The Reason on there, even if the lyrics don't fit, the sound feels it and you make it fit without hesitation.
Perfect. You're right. Actually, absolutely. It's one of those songs. And for me, that works because I'm not a lyrics person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
These lyrics are kind of ambiguous. You don't really know. He could be talking about a lot of things, which is the mark of a good songwriter for the type of songwriter who wants you to bring your own interpretation to the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's not superficial. The lyrics could really kind of go anywhere. But it's a little more forward than, say, Stream of Consciousness. Gavin Rossdale wouldn't have written these lyrics.
No, well, he writes a bunch of lines in a hat and goes, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I thought
right meter to it.
I thought Bush was like badass when I was in the 90s, and then you take a look at her lyrics, like, what does this even mean? Like, what is this?
No, you're not meant to figure it out.
I don't know.
There's no way anybody could ever figure it out.
It's one line by itself sounds cool. It's like something you write on your Trapper Keeper in the 90s. Yeah. And be like, edgy.
That was his whole process. Get super high, come up with these kind of cool riffs, power chord riffs, and then just, write down some cool things that maybe follow a sort of thread. And you're right, throw them in a hat and pull them out. Yeah, I love that.
The Hoobastank, and the lyrics might lend also to your thoughts on being kind of over polished, because somebody might say, hey, why don't we change it to this, and it becomes this kind of just bland, fits anything, more impersonal thing to try to sell a pop record rather than making a thing from an artist.
I hate to reduce it to this, because I
know I do generally like
think
the song.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I do.
But right, it's a good song. But what it became, because it was so polished and good and so applicable to so many radio formats, like you could hear this on the CHR, like the top 40. You could hear this on the alt rock. You could hear this on the hot AC. You could hear this on the mix at that time as a current. You know what I mean? It was just like, this could fit anywhere. And it fucking was everywhere. Movie soundtracks. I don't know if it ever made any commercials or anything, but it could have.
It could have.
As you said, TV promos and things like that. It was everywhere. And so this song, it became the one size fits all. So it was like the large t-shirt you got for signing up for a new bank account.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and the thing is, so where I picked the songs for the summers, they come out of it used to be Casey Kasem's American Top 40. Now it's Ryan Seacrest as of this year, because he handed it off to him in 2004. And there's barely any rock songs that chart during the summer of 2004, but Hoobastank is one of them. like
Oh.
barely any. And it's like,
it
so
was
this,
in the sort of slump of that 13-year rock cycle where it's like rock it's on the upswing at the moment, but it's still like everybody's into R&B and pop right now.
right. So it was breaking through to, I guess, other audiences in order to make that. So it was just the general audience accepting thing. But then they also put a stamp on themselves that a height they could just, you can't get, your Hoobastank, you're not getting back there. Like Incubus still did well after Drive. Drive was really huge for them, and they still, I think it's because they followed it up with a pretty stellar, pun intended, album. That Morning View was pretty tight. That came after that, so I think that helped. Or was Drive on Morning View?
No, Drive was on Make Yourself.
So, yeah,
I bought Make Yourself. I didn't know this, but I realized later I bought Make Yourself the week that it came out because I had owned their previous album, Science. I was introduced to Incubus through, I was super into like metal. And
they were in the Ozfest circuit to begin with, I remember.
And Family Values tour. They were one of the opening bands on Family Values tour.
That's right.
And I had that CD from like 98, 99, Family Values, with like Ice Cube and Korn and Limp Bizkit. Stained was there. You're right. Yep. And Incubus had it was New Skin. It was New Skin from their album Science.
Yep.
And that I was just like, who is this? And then I bought Science and I loved them. And then I bought Make Yourself. And yeah, Drive was on Make Yourself. And that was when I started thinking, I didn't buy Morning View because they had gone in the direction that at that time, as like this weird metalhead wannabe kid,
they got softer. Yeah.
I was like, it's too soft, it's too poppy, but Morning View, you're right, is a terrific album. I've revisited it recently, and man, it was just banger after banger on that one.
Yeah. They sort of just like reminds me of like me with like Sugar Ray, where I heard Fly, but I saw that album cover. I'm like, there's no way. I'm willing to bet they're a pretty heavy band, and that song is just the outlier. And they were, and then they were. And then I bought Lemonade and Brownies that came before that. Still heavy stuff. And then the 1459 came and they had their first single. I'm like, they're doing it again. Nope.
They're following the money. And that's fine.
They found a sound that was selling for them and went with it. And at the time, it was still a unique sound. It just wasn't heavy stuff like I wanted.
And boy, Mark McGrath has followed the money since then. Boy,
oh yeah,
he is a handsome man and he can host things and he's toured with the Beach Boys, for heaven's sake. Good grief, that man has made himself into a really commercially viable.
He stuck around.
Entity.
Stuck around. So Hoobastank's video here, it's directed by Brett Simon. He comes from a certain scene in the 2000s. Like the videos he's doing are The Killers, Good Charlotte, Queens of the Stone Age. And then he goes on to just direct Snow Patrol videos. And like, that's it. He did one movie called The Assassination of a High School President, which starred Bruce Willis and Misha Barton, which was a big deal when it got announced. And then it came out and like nobody cared. And the girl in it is Navina Mileshevich. And this video is a stellar little sneaky heist video where a woman, it starts with a guy looking at a girl across the street. She walks towards him. She gets hit by a car and they're like, oh, and then this guy walks into the pawn shop behind him as the owner enters, leaves to go help with the accident. And it's this whole heist thing and everything keeps on turning and turning to where you find out the girl was involved with it. And the guy who hit her with the car was involved with it. And they're stealing a money and this diamond. And it's just a really cool, I don't even know if I saw this back then in 2004. I was in college, so I wasn't having time to sit and just, I guess we put music videos on in background, but
I remember people talking about this video though,
okay,
because they were like, do you remember? Because I mean, I was with the student radio station at the time,
right?
And so we were talking about music and talking about things, and so occasionally videos would come up, and people were talking about this video, and they're like, it has nothing to do with the song, man. And I'm like, what does the song mean? Like, the song could mean any number of things. You're right. It's not about any of the things that the song could be about. You're absolutely right. And probably at the time, as a 21-year-old kid looking for meaning in things, I was like, probably in agreement. But it's like, this is a video, was at the time, this is pre-YouTube. You know, we're not looking for videos to go viral, but we're looking for them to make an impact somehow.
Yeah.
And if a weird story that has nothing to do with the song whatsoever, but kind of fits the vibe, or does it? I don't really even know if it does fit the vibe.
You know what happens is when they're making the album and they come out, okay, now we got to go to the marketing. Here's the music videos. Where are the singles? Okay, now we're on the reason. Okay, you can do a live video. We got that. Just you guys playing live. Nope. Flashier, or you guys sitting in a room somewhere cool playing it live. Nope. We've got this one this one
No,
video.
those are all forgettable ideas.
What
else you got?
We have one that just follows the lyrics to a T, kind of boring. Or we've been shopping this around with people. Real hot script. It's a heist thing. Has nothing to do with your song, but man, it's gonna be cool. People talk with it. Let's do the heist thing.
Let's do that one.
We've
already
how
got
they
this
do it.
perfect pop rock song. Let's do the weird, gotcha story thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that this was an idea, and I don't know, I could probably look this up and find out, but I guarantee you this was among like a list of ideas that this director had. Like,
oh yeah,
if I get
absolutely.
a 4-piece band, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have the singer drive the car, and I'm gonna.
I mean, this could have been an NSYNC video too. This could have been NSYNC. This could have been the Spice Girls. This could have been anybody. Like it's really plug and play. And I mean, it could have been anybody. It could have been. Probably not the Eagles, but it could have been anybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I enjoyed the song more than the video, but I appreciated the moment that the video gave us back in 2004.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah. There apparently is a prequel video to this for their next single, Same Direction. I didn't have time to watch it before this, but I found that out late. I was like, oh, crap.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a whole thing going on.
Fine. Okay. So that was made after the fact because it was it was a prequel. Because all right. So at that time, even they knew, okay, this is a huge song. This is a huge video. Yeah. We've got to cash in here somehow.
Yeah, and it's literally in the same album. So it's like Smashing Pumpkins did with Melancholy's 1979, and then with their next album with Perfect, they made a sequel video where all the kids were like years later as adults, is what they did with that one. But yeah, I've seen that happens in the music video thing where I think I did a couple. So when we did Summer of '82, 38 Special had a video for Caught Up in You has a sequel video to it, and I found that out. And it's Caught Up in You. Yep, so big they made a sequel video, and it's another smoky wood paneled bar video. Like,
well,
perfect with their music.
38 Special, man. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, coming to Indianapolis this summer, I think. Actually, I
believe it. I believe that to be true.
Probably like someone such and such bar and grill. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see them anywhere else, right?
I wouldn't want to see them anywhere. For anyone familiar with the greater Indianapolis area, I would not want to see 38 Special anywhere than the 8 Second Saloon.
Yes,
that's where I'm seeing 38 Special.
That'd be great.
With the mechanical bull sitting off in the shadows, or maybe it's on. I don't know. But the only place I'm seeing 38 Special is if they come to 8 Second Saloon.
Like, floors got to be sticky where they're playing. Maybe some pet shells. Like,
it's got to be filthy.
Are you allowed to smoke in here? What? Like, that's got to be the place that you see them.
Just like 2004, everybody's smoking up.
Smoking up. All right. Well, Matt, that'll do it for this one. Till the next time you pop up here on the summer 2004 at 20, where can people keep up with you?
The best place is Instagram for me these days. Matt Pelsor Radio on Instagram. I'm also on Threads, though I've never posted a single thing. Same thing, Matt Pelsor Radio. You can also find me on Facebook if you want, but Instagram for me is the place to be. I post videos from my morning show in the story at least twice a week, usually more, and just have a great time. It's so much fun, and thank you for having me, Brandon. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the time. So I'm on the socials at Brandon4KUHD, and everything is coming up PopCon Louisville at the end of August. Big guest Anson Mount from Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, or as I like to say, the star of Urban Legends Final Cut, or Britney Spears Crossroads. But you can come see him and find more information at popcon.us and sign up for the live podcast stage while you're there. If I still have spaces, I'll get you on. I'd love to see you there and check out your podcast. So yeah, popcon.us. Monday here on the show, Scott, Aaron, and I discuss Around the World in 80 Days Dodgeball, a true underdog story, The Terminal, and I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. All that and more as the summer of 2004 at 20 continues.
The summer of 2004 at 20.